This is my 14.4 1.5 horsepower dual CFM Vivo Home Monster, and it's got 1.35 microns. 1.35 microns. My last best was 1.7 microns, so it's kicking butt and taking names, baby. Pretty awesome, dude. Okay, we're at 14.5. It's been going back and forth between 14.5 and 14.4. Okay, so that's a good thing. So it went from 9 to up to 14.5. So we're all set from 9.7 or something like that, whatever it was, to 14.5 after 10-minute decay test, and we're all set. So we'll go ahead and release our refrigerant into the system, and so we'll go ahead and valve this off. And whenever you do that, this valve controls this, but this can't hold a vacuum, so don't worry about that number. No matter how, just turn it off. It's irritating. But when you valve it off, that always just goes up. Don't worry about that. Anyway, we're set right here with our vacuum, okay? And so what I'm going to do is show you how to put your valve core back in safely, okay? So I'm going to put your valve core back in safely, and then without messing with your vacuum, okay? We have a perfect vacuum right now, and we want to make sure it stays perfect, okay? So I'm going to show you the procedure to put your valve core back in. I'm teaching you to do this. Makes it virtually impossible to mess up unless you just don't follow the simple directions. You're only going to open up this thing a whiff, just a little tiny 1 second worth of refrigerant. It's going to go in through here. It's going to go all the way up to the IDU and come back to here and put pressure on this right here. So we can mess with this valve without it messing with our vacuum. Right now we got a perfect vacuum. We're going to put back pressure on this system with refrigerant from the ODU. But we're not going to open it up like some people show on the internet, where you got a whole bunch of pressure in there, and then you got to fight the pressure, and if something goes wrong, you can lose all your pressure. Here, worst case scenario, something goes wrong, you got to replace something or whatever. It doesn't mean anything. You're only going to have a whiff of refrigerant. Everything else is still safely stored inside your ODU. Okay, so I want you to take the thing and then open it up 1 second worth. That's it. That's it. Now that's done. It's all safe. It's all back in there. Everything's here. It's only got one little bit coming down to here. Okay, now it's protected. Your vacuum's totally protected. Your whole system is filled with refrigerant. Not very much, but it's filled with refrigerant. Okay, so what you want to do is at this point, because it's filled with refrigerant, we want to let out some air, let out some refrigerant. Okay, it's right here. So we're going to loosen this here. Listen. Hear that? That's the refrigerant. We let out any air now, and that section is gone now. Okay, so now we have just refrigerant pushing down on here. So it's not very much, but we push it up. Okay, and then while your thumb's holding it, simply turn it. You keep your thumb or finger or whatever you got there to hold it in place, and keep it pressed up while you're turning, because you're fighting gravity. It has to go this direction. Okay, and so you keep your thumb on it, keep the pressure on it, and just screw it in. This was nice about these valve core removal tools I tell you to get. They got a big giant handle on them. I mean, that thing's gigantic. And if you didn't know, inside there is three or four valve cores they give you too. So brand new ones. Not that I'm using it, but the point is, they're available. I have 100 of them, but you maybe don't have them. So now you know you have extras. If you bought the tool like I told you to, yeah, each one of these tools come with 3 or 4 of them in there. All right, so as soon as you feel it snugging up, you don't have to go much more than that, okay? Just snug it up. All right, that's it. Now, what we're gonna do is, as soon as we got that set up, we're gonna valve it off now. This is still protected, all right, just so you know. Nothing's happened yet. We maybe pushed the valve core in there. We did, but I'm just telling you the worst case scenarios. It didn't. It's actually still on here, all kinds of stuff, and whatever scenario you think in your mind you imagine is hard with this, doing this, it's not true. Almost nothing ever goes wrong in these things if you follow the simple directions. So the simple fact is, right now it's valved off. So this whole thing is totally still protected. Okay, even no matter what goes on here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this and show you the valve core is missing. It's gone. Okay. It's hooked up in here now, but is it working? Is it leaking? So now we're going to put a test cap on there and test it with our bubbles and see if we have any bubbles. If it's not, then we can remove our system and move on and release the rest of our refrigerant. Okay, this is just a normal cap. I just drilled a hole in it to make a test cap out of it, and simply put it on there. Put a little dab of vacuum pump oil on there. Put this on there. Then what we'll do is, now we have a nice good cap on there. At the very most that could happen is it could leak a little bit. It's got a hole right there. We're going to open it up and we're going to test it and see if there's any bubbles coming out of there. Put a little tester, some foam on there. Again, as I said, that the most important thing about mini splits is leaks. Don't let nothing leak. If the valve core leaking, if this valve core was leaking, it'd be an absolute tragedy. You don't want anything leaking, so you want to double check everything really good. 99.9% of all mini split failure are from leaks. And the leaks cause other problems, and then you got a problem. So anyway, it's not leaking. That's perfect. So now that we're done with that, we'll go ahead and release our system. Go ahead and release our system now. And everything's good to go. The thing is perfectly in there. Everything's set up. So now we're going to go ahead and release our refrigerant into the system. We had just a whiff. Remember, we opened up just a whiff here, and it filled it up, and it just protected our vacuum so we could deal with our gauges and everything. And now that's perfect, and that's all done. And now we're going to release the refrigerant for the whole system. All right, now what you want to do is take a little bit of nylon and put it on there, and put it on both sides on the threads. These aren't really flares. You can put it around that edge anyway, but mainly on the threads on these ones. And then here, this is the flare. You can put it on the flare face and the threads. There's no reason not to. And you don't have to torque them on. Just simply tighten them good and snug, because these three caps are part of the sealing system. You don't want this exposed to the weather. Inside here are O-rings. There's 1 or 2 O-rings in each one of these, okay? And O-rings are just rubber. Can you imagine the sun and weather getting on there? No, you want these caps on there snugly with some nylon on there. Protect them. Protect it totally. And then I showed you a video how to replace the O-rings because somebody else didn't have it on super tight, and weather got in there and rotted out the O-ring and made a whole system leak. Here we have not an O-ring, but we had the plastic that you saw, the little red plastic sealing thing. You know, it's like a washer or something. I don't know what it's called. It's weird. It's oblong and conical. But anyway, it's a little sealing ring. It's plastic. You don't want any weather on that. So put your cap on there and snug it up with a little bit of nylon, okay? This is part of the seal. Okay, then what we're going to do is turn the system on, and we're going to turn it on full pressure. Right now it's summertime, so I'm going to put it on cooling. But if it was wintertime, you put it on heat. Just turn it on full bore. Use a turbo fan, full bore, cooling or heating, high degrees, low degree, whatever, whichever works for you to make this thing go the most extreme. Then come check all the joints again. Check everything with bubble tester. Okay, now's the time to go check all your. Then once you check the line set up there at the IDU, then you can finish up your line set cover. Okay, now once you check the last final test is after you start the thing up, is you check all your joints, check everything for leaks. And if nothing's leaking, you can just wrap everything up, get it all snugged up, put the tape on, put everything, get it all snugged up because you're done. The system's perfect. Okay. But make sure you do that final test. If you just say, well, we already did a pressure check, we're fine, we already did our vacuum, it's fine. Look, man, it takes a couple of minutes. Take your bubbles after you go around and test everything out one more time. And if everything's perfect, then you're good to go. Then you don't have to worry about your system ever again.